All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we've got a whole collection of fascinating facts all about Sweden. And I gotta say, just looking over these notes, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, me too. I think we've got a really interesting mix here. I mean, it's everything from like everyday rituals to these kind of like larger cultural values and some pretty unique examples too. So.
Right, and that's really what we want to do today, right? I mean, we want to kind of go beyond just the surface level facts and really try to unpack like what these details tell us about the country and its people.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like taking all these little puzzle pieces and seeing how they fit together to create this bigger picture of, Swedish culture. And I think that's what's so fun about these deep dives. We're not just listing facts, we're actually using them to try to understand a place and its people a little better.
Exactly. Yeah. So why don't we jump right in? I'm seeing here something that I know a lot of people can relate to. Coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently Swedes drink a ton of it.
They do. They really do. Sweden is actually one of the top coffee-consuming countries in the world.
Wow. Okay, so what's the story there? Is it just that they need a big caffeine boost to get through those long winter days?
Well, that might be part of it, but I think there's more to it than that. It's really the ritual of fika that's key.
Fika?
Yeah, fika. It's basically this daily break they have for coffee and usually some kind of pastry, and it's really important to enjoy it with company.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just about, grabbing a quick coffee on the go. It's about actually slowing down, connecting with people, and taking an intentional break, even in the middle of a busy workday.
I see. So it's like this built-in social time?
Exactly. Yeah, it's this social glue that kind of helps keep everything running smoothly. And I think it speaks to a larger value they have on like balance and taking time for those personal connections.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so from a coffee breaks, let's move on to something completely different. I'm seeing here a hotel built entirely out of ice.
Ah, yes, the Ice Hotel in Jukkasjärvi.
And it gets rebuilt every year.
Every winter.
Yeah.
Yep. They actually use ice from the nearby Torne River to construct the whole thing every single year.
That's wild. I mean, talk about commitment.
Right. And I think it really speaks to their connection with nature and also like their ingenuity and resourcefulness.
Yeah.
Using what's available to create something so unique and temporary.
And yeah, I mean, it must be an amazing experience to stay there, but then it just melts away.
Yeah, it's like this ephemeral work of art.
Yeah.
It exists for a short time and then it's gone. And I think there's something kind of beautiful about that.
It's definitely memorable, for sure. Okay, speaking of their connection to nature, this next one really caught my eye. It's the idea of allemansrätten, which translates to freedom to roam.
Right, allemansrätten. It's a pretty amazing concept.
Yeah.
Basically gives people the right to roam freely in nature almost anywhere in Sweden. You can camp, you can hike, you can even forage for berries and mushrooms on both public and private land.
Wow, on private land too.
Yeah, with very few restrictions. Yeah, it's based on this like deep respect for the environment and also this kind of fundamental trust within society.
That's pretty amazing. I mean,
Right.
Are there any rules at all?
Oh yeah, of course. It's not just a free-for-all. You can't disturb wildlife or damage property or anything like that. But the basic idea is that everyone should be able to enjoy nature. And it's really about balancing individual freedom with responsibility for the environment.
So it's like freedom with respect?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really ingrained in their culture. I think it really speaks to how much they value nature and see it as something that's accessible to everyone.
That's really cool. Okay, next up we've got a fact that just blew my mind. Sweden has more islands than any other country in the world.
Isn't that incredible?
Over 267,000 islands.
Yep, a whole archipelago stretching along its coastline.
Yeah.
And many of them are completely untouched. These pristine little pockets of nature just waiting to be explored.
Wow. I mean, I knew Sweden had a lot of coastline, but that's just crazy. I bet that really shakes the culture in a lot of ways.
Oh, absolutely. Think about all the maritime traditions, the fishing, the sailing, even just the kind of like peace and solitude you can find out on those islands. It really creates a different rhythm of life, and I think it definitely influences their sense of independence and self-reliance, too.
Yeah, it definitely paints a picture of a very diverse landscape. And then, of course, you have the extreme daylight situations up north with the midnight sun and the polar nights.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
In the summer, the sun never sets, and in the winter, it barely rises. So you can imagine how that kind of dramatic variation in daylight would influence their lifestyle and traditions.
Yeah, I bet it does. I mean, everything from how you sleep to what you eat to how you socialize must be affected by that.
Absolutely. They've had to adapt to these extreme conditions, and I think it's actually something they celebrate.
Yeah.
The Midnight Sun festivals in the summer, the cozy winter traditions, it's all part of what makes the North so unique.
For sure. Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about something a little more lighthearted. Pop culture. I'm seeing here that AB Day is still hugely popular in Sweden.
Well, absolutely. They're like national treasures.
And there's even an ABA museum in Stockholm.
Yep, right in the heart of the city. It's a testament to their lasting legacy and how much they mean to Swedish culture.
I mean, their music is so catchy, it's hard not to love them. And then there's this other unique thing I saw, a hotel in Kalmar that's run entirely by high school students.
Oh yeah, that's a really cool initiative. Basically, it's a fully functioning hotel, but the staff is made up of students who are getting hands-on experience in the hospitality industry.
So it's like part of their education.
Exactly. Yeah, it's this amazing blend of theory and practice. They're learning all the skills they need in a real-world environment, and it's actually a pretty popular hotel, too.
I bet it is. What a great way to learn. Okay, this next one is just mind-boggling. Sweden's recycling rate is something like 99%.
It's incredible, right? They recycle almost all of their household waste, and they're so good at it, they actually import trash from other countries to recycle.
Gee.
They have this incredibly efficient system, and it really shows how committed they are to sustainability and resource management.
That's so impressive.
Okay.
And now for something completely different and a little bit funny. Apparently, tourists love to steal moose crossing signs in Sweden.
Oh, yeah. It's become kind of a running joke, but it's actually a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
They've had to redesign the signs to make them harder to steal. And it just shows how even these everyday objects can become these like cultural symbols.
That's hilarious. And finally, we have the @Sweden Twitter account.
Oh, yes. This was such a cool project. Basically, they handed over the account to a different Swedish citizen every week to tweet about their life and their perspective on Sweden.
So anyone could be the voice of Sweden for a week?
Yep. It was this really unique social experiment, and it gave this really diverse and unfiltered view of the country. Everything from everyday experiences to political opinions was all out there.
I mean, it must have been a little bit chaotic at times, but also super interesting.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It definitely sparked a lot of conversations. And I think it was a really bold way to explore national identity in the digital age.
For sure. So we've covered a lot of ground here. From coffee breaks to ice hotels to recycling champions to moose sign thieves, Sweden is a country of contrasts. And I think all these little details really give us a glimpse into what makes this place so unique.
Yeah, I completely agree. We see a culture that really values community and connection. They have a deep respect for nature and individual responsibility. And they're also very innovative and practical in their approach to things.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's definitely a sense of humor and playfulness in there too.
Absolutely. So for all of you listening, think about this. With its blend of nature love, community spirit, and a touch of quirky charm, what other surprising aspects might be waiting to be discovered in Sweden? It makes you wonder what other stories they have to tell.
What else is out there?
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
It's been fun.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.